I just want to be in the zone.
2 weeks ago I moved into my new apartment, and over the last 14 days I have put a lot of effort into setting up the apartment to look as good as possible for now. And I am super excited to give you a full tour of my new apartment in today's video. And while I'm currently in my favorite room for obvious reasons, let's start the tour in chronological order and start downstairs. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to my new apartment. Alrighty, when you first walk in, the first thing you see is the kitchen, and it's the least exciting room or area of the house from a plant perspective. I really only have the mother forest over there, but from a human perspective, I am quite excited to have a nice kitchen. And this is actually the darkest part of the house. You can probably see a little bit of indirect light coming through from above. That is a south-facing window, not a proper window, it's like the glass bricks, right? And south is the worst exposure in Australia. So there isn't much light coming through a south-facing window in the first place. Definitely not if it's so small up there and glass bricks, but it is at least letting a little bit of light in. Apart from that, the entire apartment is facing north, which is good, but obviously the deeper you get into the room, the less light you get. So it kind of works in my favor that the kitchen, the space that I would naturally have the least plants in anyway, is also naturally the darkest place. But you know me, I'm not shy supplementing with grow lights. Alrighty, so this is the first little planty installation. This is the Forest by Mother, the company that does all of my vertical grow lights as well. And I've had it for many years now, and I moved with it twice. So this is already the third place I've had it set up. I used to have pots on 3 sides, 1, 2 and 3, but now with the elongated kitchen over here, I put all of the pots just on 2 sides. Technically you can go up to 4 sides on this one. And I really like just having that little bit of greenery over here, vertically stacked, doesn't take up any space, is in a corner that is really, really dark, that I would normally not really be able to grow any plants in. It has the integrated grow lights, and all products I use, from grow lights to fertilizers to whatever it might be, are always linked in the description in case you want to find out more. Right, now let me show you the plants in a little bit more detail. Down here is a lush pot of crystallinum hybrids, crazy rubbish that I have made. Over here is Maranta, Begonia, lemon lime Maranta. Never remember this one. I think it's something with Swanee as well. And then just some trailing pothos as well over here. All right, let's move through. Off the kitchen, we then have the dining area over here. This is definitely not the right table for it. And I'm also filming against the light. This is the north-facing window I was talking about earlier. So maybe we should switch positions. That hopefully is more manageable. Early days filming at this new place for me as well. I really still need to work out how it all translates on camera and so on, so bear with me. But today I really just want to give you a general update of the space and kind of the vibe, right? It's not necessarily about every single plant that I've got in my collection, because every single plant is also suffering a little bit at the moment. They are still going through shock. I mean, it has now been 2 weeks at the new place, so if a plant is like really, really unhappy, it would have already shown me by now. But of course, it still takes a little bit of time for the plants to adjust to the new environment. Not necessarily from a are you going to live scenario, but from a visual perspective, right? Some plants are now exposed to a different set of light, and as a result of that, the plant will also slowly adjust visually to face the light. So it might still look a little bit off. But yeah, I also am in desperate need for a really thorough plant care day. I have definitely all the pests in the world in my collection at the moment. I have so much repotting and chopping to do, extending, just cleaning up plants a little bit. I also stopped cutting off any leaves. I'm usually not opposed to cutting off ugly leaves, but I figured, you know, while they're settling in, let's not introduce any more shock and let's let them hold on to all of the old leaves if they're ugly or not. So I haven't had my full-on plant care day yet because I'm still working on like fundamentally setting up spaces, human and plant-wise. Anyway, over here is my homemade Soltec plant stand. I actually removed the pots from here. I used to have little pots here just because I don't really need them, because all of the plants that used to be on this grow light are now in the forest, because all of the plants that used to be in the forest had mealybugs, could not be asked to treat them, so I just chopped them right back and chucked them on the balcony waiting for recovery. So in the meantime, this would be completely empty, so I just moved the pots away. Let me bring you closer with my phone again. Alrighty, sorry if the light is flickering a little bit, depends on the frame rate, sometimes it does that. My obliqua, you would have seen, oh no, you haven't seen it yet. I think the next upload you'll see it. It had severe thrips, so this is definitely a bit of a recovery project. I can't see any thrips anymore, used contender spray to treat it. This is my Spiritus Sancti, and she's growing quite nicely. Oop, here comes the flicker. It has something to do with frame rate. I still haven't figured that out. I'm not too sure what these are. Do you think this is rust, guys? Does anybody know? Or do you think this is just extra floral nectaries in combination with too much sun causing some visual damage? I'm not too sure, but I'm also not necessarily concerned. Then next to that, I've got a beautiful, beautiful Regal Shields. I just think it looks so nice. The sheen under this light. Why is this light? I don't know why it flickers so much. It doesn't flicker in real life, guys. And get a load of this root system. That's what I mean when I say I have a bunch of repotting to do. And then over here I've got a trailing verrucosum. I feel like it was underappreciated at the old place, so I can't wait for that to trail down here a little bit. Should be able to handle this darkish corner. Just for the record, in here I have 23 degrees Celsius and 57% humidity. I have the aircon on today though. When we go into the outdoor areas later, you'll see the temperature go up and humidity will go up as well. So this is kind of with aircon. Alright, then over here I've got another aspect on one of their own stands rather than my homemade, and this one is the Shazza, Philodendron Cheronii, and that suffered quite a bit through severe heat waves outside. It was on the fence outside in the last place. You can see a lot of heat damage, but it is now pushing out a new leaf. I even had to cut off the latest one because it was just so damaged. So let's see how it copes inside. It really enjoyed my garden, but I feel like it is really pretty and I would like to look at it more. And then next to that we've got my Gagaena. Look at this beautiful new leaf. Also actually this grew in this space, so I'm quite happy with that. So yeah, overall this is kind of like the planty part of the dining area. I definitely will get a rectangular table. The round table does not work for this space, and I would love it to be wood as well. Ideally, I would love it to have white legs and a wooden top, kind of matching this cabinet over here, and I think it will just match the space more because the space is really elongated, right? But I haven't really found a nice one yet. You know, I don't need to do everything in the first week or so. I love getting new stuff, so I want to also keep a little bit of excitement for later down the road. Let's have a look at the opposite side. All right, opposite side to the dining area is kind of a bit of a walkway, right? We've got the staircase over here. Then we obviously also need to walk through the space. So over here I have chosen light to come from above because then it's not in the way. And with light coming from above, I then also choose plants that appreciate light coming from above, mainly alocasias. Now I'm pretty sure this setup has not changed at all since the initial moving vlog, but let's show you anyway. Here's the Cupria. I just really wanted to fill in with 2 or 3 leaves and then it will look really, really good again. But it lived under exactly this light. This is the IKEA Hector lamp with a Soltec Vita. It lived under this at my old place and it really enjoyed it. So I know it can come back from the big chop, and it is growing actively. I think it has grown a new leaf. You can see there's something growing here. It has grown a new leaf, hasn't it? Oh yeah, this one. I think it might also still have mealybugs. I need to work on this. Anyway, but it's happy. And then the Friedeck is the happiest it has ever been. incredible. Look at these leaves. Just so happy with its growth at the moment. And it used to only rely on natural light coming from a south-facing window. I now give it significantly more light, and let's see if that makes it thrive even more. YOLO. Next to that, I've got the Jacqueline, also beautiful and is growing nicely and consistently. Look at this texture, by the way. Funky, right? And again, it will appreciate the light coming from above based on its growth pattern, right? Like that. Next to that, we've got the Discoria Discolor. It hasn't been the best success this year, so I'm also not really giving it the best spot because, you know, it's not really going to shoot the lights out this year. Just a filler, but a nice pop of color. And then the IKEA cabinet, I also have to do some work in here. Look at this, so sad. This is a Burle-Marx flame that's dying from thrips. But my variegated Porte is looking nice. Had to cut off a bunch of leaves because of thrips. Variegated Billy, I don't think you've seen this yet. Oh, it's not looking the happiest though. Need to look into this and repot it as well. Cute, the Oxalis. The one I really want to show you is the Veitchii, because this is definitely the biggest and nicest Veitchii leaf it has ever grown, and much nicer than the little failure of a Veitchii that I was trying to grow for 5 years prior to this particular specimen. Anyway, lots of work to be done in here, so for now let's just appreciate cabinet. So this dining area over here is by far the darkest corner of the entire place out of all 3 levels, because we're the furthest removed from the north-facing windows. And that's not a bad thing. It's predominantly a human space, but that also means that this is the area where I supplement the heaviest with grow lights. So, you know, when I look at these spaces, I know straight away, okay, IKEA cabinet and forest have to go into the dining area, and then I start arranging around them from there. But that's kind of like the starting point. That's the starting point of the arranging, but also the end point of my sentence. Let's move through to the lounge area. Alrighty, lounge area over here. TV over there, and I think you should be able to see little Bebe in his crate down here, aren't you? Huh? He is still not ready to give up on his moving crate. He's really enjoying it. Now you should also be blinded by a few lights. There's 2 lights over here. They are facing this way, so I think it's time for us to switch again. There you are. Back at it again with the backlight. Look, it's really hard to film against a north-facing full floor-to-ceiling wall of windows, but it is really beautiful to have floor-to-ceiling north-facing windows. Now, what you can see is that out here is a bit of a sunroom, but of course the areas to the right and to the left of the sunroom I would still love to utilize for a few more indoor plants. Let's focus on this one first. So the idea with this space is that I do not want to obstruct this beautiful opening to the sunroom, right? I want it to be one continuous kind of line that goes through. Now this couch comes out quite a bit, but that's still okay because the space is actually much larger than my previous place. But I don't want there to be so many plants that it feels cramped. The other thing is, obviously the light comes from there, so naturally the plants also don't want to be backlit. They would love to face this way. I don't like that though. I want to look at my plants. So what I do is I put my mother grow lights over here and on the other side as well. And then I can put the plants into the corner and against the wall and have them face into the room, because now I have a strategic position of light from the middle of the room. Plus, this being here doesn't really bother me. I do have a little bit of a walkway to go in between the couch, because all of these are actual mirrored wardrobes and storage. So I can't push the couch all the way to the back. And I actually really like this airy feel. But it no longer feels airy if you cram it full of plants, and sometimes less is more. So let me show you. I do think the phone camera picks things up much nicer. So again, here's the grow light, the mother grow light. Then over here I've got a beautiful hybrid that Tim from Grow Vertical made. It's a Milano and Autumn Queen. Love the sheen. My Mandula is looking so good. She's grown this huge leaf recently. And my Adansonii is doing its thing. It really needs to step up its game a little bit, but that's okay. And then I've got this kind of built-in shelf over here as well that I quite enjoy. I think a standout would be the Vitarifolium over here. It's looking good. And then I love all of these mirrored wardrobes because they obviously pick up any of the plants from the other side. So visually, I have way more plants in this room than I actually have. Alrighty, and the other thing you can see in that mirrored wardrobe is that I have mirrored the same setup over here. Again, a mother light in the middle. Actually, this one's not really getting enough light, but honestly, at this stage, I don't really want it to mature. I'm kind of excited to have these wild runners just go everywhere. And it's growing well, so yeah, this is the El Salvador. But these ones over here definitely get supported by this grow light, and I really love this setup. This one is Escalado. Also looks like it might, looks like thrips damage. Ugh, not happy about that. Anyway. As I mentioned, I really need a plant care day. Ooh. Let's ignore the thrips damage, because if we're talking about every plant that has thrips damage, we'll never stop talking about thrips damage. Overall, it's still a very beautiful plant, huge, and it used to be my south-facing window, facing out the window. Now with this new setup in the mother grow light over here, I can have the plant face me, and it looks stunning. And then I have this really nice pop of color over here with the Florida Ghost. Kind of mirrors the pop of color that the Mandula provides over here. So let me zoom out a bit. I kind of love how these two islands of plants are framing the outside area. So let's head into the outside area then. Okay, now it is going to get significantly hotter out here, I think. Oh, actually not much more humid, but definitely hotter. Alrighty, now this little sunroom area, whatever you might want to call it, it's not really a true outdoor area, right? Because it has 4 walls. It just has 2 windows. I don't even know what it makes it an outdoor. It's actually just another room. I've got tiled floors and I've got a drain in the middle of the floor. So I suppose that makes it an outdoor area. I don't know. Now in this outdoor area, I have 3 distinct areas. I have the middle area. Oh, look at this. Sorry. You know, it has actually nothing to do with what I wanted to show you. The middle area, sorry. Got too distracted shaking my plant. This is the middle area. And I just have some random plants here. These are kind of plants that I want to see. When I walk into my house and I look outside, these are the first plants I see. So I really wanted to have some pops of color, like the Oxalis with the purple. And the Oxalis is loving it out here, by the way. I don't think she's ever looked this lush. And then the Amidrio medium silver with its really silvery leaves. It's quite dehydrated. It's a hot day. I need to water her. But yeah, it gives me like this really nice contrast. And then the hanging plant over there, it's just like a nice little setup that I want to look at when I first walk out of here, when I first walk in here. This is an outdoor rug, by the way, an absolute steal, only 50 bucks from IKEA, and there's a drain down below, but I have chosen to not just liberally water out here and let water drain everywhere. I'm going to be a little bit neater, but realistically all of my plants are in pots anyway, so the water is being caught by that. Then the second area, oh no, it's wet, oh no, I think this thing was leaking. Okay, let's talk about this thing then while we're here and before you overheat. This is a camping shower. It's a pump with a shower hose and then just a bucket. So I set this up. I saw it, Plants by Crystal posted about this online. So a camping shower from Amazon and a bucket. And then I can just walk around and hose everything down over here, or like very efficiently water everything, because we are quite, well, while we have water in the kitchen, right, we're actually quite far away. It's a lengthy house. And it's really hot out here, so I water very frequently. So I just have this here, so I can very easily just hose everything down. And then yeah, this is my workbench, and I'm really excited to finally be able to use this workbench. I've had it for many years, but I've never really had a setup inside where I can make use of it. I don't think it looks like an inside thing, right? It's definitely usually like a garage kind of thing. I don't really have a nice garage to work in, so I figured this is kind of the perfect room, right? Because if I need to do repotting and so on, this is probably the place for me to do that. And it's really nice to have a functional workspace that also looks good. So I can have all of my nutrients, my chopping things and so on. Everything here handy, because when you have so many plants, it is important that you organize and that you have everything handy so you don't procrastinate. Basically not what I've done over the last few weeks. Anyway, let's have a look at plants. Just to show you, this is the other Cupria, also growing a new leaf over here. That's good. And the Regal Shields over here is also looking happy. I am a little bit concerned about too much light and heat in this place, but they just have to build resilience. But that's why I mainly choose plants that already lived outdoors. This one, Monstera Deliciosa, probably also needs water. Just want to show you, look at these big inflows that it's growing now. That is insane. Very happy about that. And then some hanging plants as well, just to give it a nice atmosphere. Alrighty, and then the other area of this room is behind you. Alrighty, on this side you can still see the Escalado from inside. And I've got another big Monstera Deliciosa over here, working on a big video about her, because I'll show you. Because what I did with this plant was I cut between every single node, and now look how many reshoots I've got everywhere. So that will be fun. Don't look at my wet ass. I swear it was the water bucket. And then over here I've got a few other plants. Honestly, this is the area I'm probably the least happy with, because it just doesn't necessarily look that good yet. I don't think moss pole plants are the right plants for over here, because the light exposure isn't so consistent. It's kind of coming from the side, right? So I think Alocasias would be really good over here, but I just don't know where else to put these plants for now. Now the only one I really want to show you is the Tycon, because I reckon the Tycon is going to have an amazing time over here. Lots and lots of light from this north-facing window right next to me over here. So that will be really good. And down here, the Jose Bueno also is looking really good. Already pushing out a new leaf, and look at all of the root growth. It is really loving this spot. And of course, we can't forget about the Bebe. I also bought the cat grass for the Bebe. Now he's actually not allowed in this outdoor space unless I close these north-facing windows, but then it gets really hot in here. So I only do that on a colder day. I close those windows, and then I open up the windows to the inside, and then I'm just treating this as part of the inside, right? So if I have aircon on or heating on inside, I would then also just include this room, but it is not exposed to the outside. But on a hot day like today, I just keep the windows open over here. I close these windows over here, so the air conditioning inside is working, and out here is basically like a little greenhouse. Not quite as humid as my greenhouse before, right? But I suppose the walls wouldn't enjoy 90% humidity. But it is definitely warmer and more humid, purely based on Sydney's natural conditions. So I feel like the plants that were used to greenhouse and outdoor garden conditions are going to have a really easy time over here, because there isn't all too much change in conditions. If anything, it will be better conditions, because I think one thing that a few of my plants struggled with at the old place was light intensity in the garden as well. I was lucky that I had a tree that provided a bit of coverage, but the ceiling definitely provides better coverage from the really harsh summer north-facing sun. That's the downstairs level. Let's head back up and see what's happening on the second level. Here we are, another floor to almost ceiling, large north-facing window, which means more backlight, which means we should probably switch yet again. Alrighty, now I kept it pretty light on plants inside because I really didn't want to supplement with grow lights, and obviously if we're going deeper into the room it gets darker. So I only have a few plants over here, but I think they're really impactful. Sometimes you don't need to have heaps, maybe sometimes you just need really nice ones. I think this Plomania, and I hope you can see this well because it's quite sunny. Display Mania is one of my absolute favorites at the moment. I mean, these new leaves just look so good. Look at the back sides, look at these pink ruffled petioles. It just looks good from all sides, so a perfect candidate for a spot like this over here. And then behind me over here, I've got Monstera Deliciosa Brazil Form, also pushing out a new leaf since the move, and Epipremnum pinnadum variegata. Look at this new leaf, looking so good. And a new leaf unfurling over here. Now, these older leaves always got bashed around in the garden a lot. So I'm actually keen to see if I can grow this Epipremnum pinnadum like really beautifully, because it would be nice to have these super pristine white leaves without all too much damage. And realistically, I have a much better chance to have less damage inside than outside, because this north-facing courtyard is sunny. I mean, you can see it right now. It is intense, it is hot, and it can get really, really windy as well. So naturally, I have chosen plants out here that were already used to these conditions because they were in my garden beforehand. It is actually really hot. You guys are overheating, so I'm gonna keep it short, but basically here, plants from my wall of aeroids. Everything needs a little bit more adjustment for sure, but there are signs of new growth, which is good. I also have some hanging plants. This Nepenthes definitely got a massive beating by the sun. Sorry. But everything else seems okay. Time will tell. It needs a little bit of time. Now, I also ripped out a huge colocasia in my old garden, and you can see it is actually, oh my god, this is root growth over here. Most probably it's growing a new leaf. So it is going to recover, right? It seemed pretty harsh at the time, just ripping it out of there, but it's actually the best way to go about it. And remember, that's only 2 weeks ago. And the banana, I also chopped this big one. I chopped off completely for the move. Now, one of the leaves got injured as part of the move, but it has already grown a full, huge, oh, sorry for the noise. It's grown this huge leaf over here already in just those 2 weeks. This little, it's not even that little, this pup anymore. This pup has now grown 3 leaves since we're here. This is the 3rd one that is pushing out. So it's clearly happy with whatever I got to offer. The Thomatophyllum is also pushing out a new leaf, looking really, really good. This one might have gotten a bit bleached, but look at this new growth. It's looking really nice. Look at all of this new growth. The Martianum, new growth, hardly any leaf damage from the sun, which I'm actually surprised by. I think this one didn't handle the sun quite as well, but that's okay. Let's have it build some resilience. And even the bromeliads that are actually in a lot of sun are handling it really, really well. And over here I've got the Kenner Stuttgart. I also almost completely chopped this back, and there's lots of new shoots coming out now. So this is going to fill in very, very soon. So overall, let me put you on wide angle maybe. Overall, that's you guys. You guys got your own fan. That's how hot it is. Overall, I'm really enjoying this space. I pushed the plants more into the windows, so I get a little bit more privacy, and I have this second shade cover over here, so it doesn't get absolutely burned. I also love this space at nighttime. When the lights come on, it just looks so good. But I am getting really, really sweaty. Let's head to the next room, which is by far my favorite room of the house, the office. Alrighty, so we're going from north facing to south facing in the office. Hello. Oh, look at you there. Now, this room is south facing, so that's not necessarily good exposure, at least here in Australia. And this room actually has no normal windows, but it has a window to, sorry, let me show you. It has a window to the next level up, and it has a skylight. And that skylight actually gives me a lot of light. Now, not a lot of light from a plant's perspective, but a lot of beautiful, very soft indirect light for filming, which I'm really excited about. I often struggled with cameras overheating when filming, and obviously northern exposure and direct sun wouldn't help. With northern exposure, you also get a lot of harsh sunlight coming into the room, specifically over winter. So I really struggled filming at my last place. I only had north-facing rooms to really film in, and often the harsh sunlight, the ups and downs and so on, made editing and filming really hard. So I'm actually quite excited to film in this space because I feel like I have a realistic chance of having consistent light exposure throughout the video, rather than the light exposure changing 20 times in 20 minutes of filming. So it's actually the perfect office for me, but I obviously need to supplement light for plants, which is also fine because my old office was also south facing, and while it had a natural window, that window was actually full of plants, so there wasn't really any light going into the room. So over here I've got my upgraded wall of velvets. It is upgraded because it's probably twice as big as the previous office. I absolutely love this space. I think it just looks so sexy. I have 3 mother lights over here, the live spectrums, because I obviously now need to account for a larger area. I used to have 2 in here. I also put the anthurium shelf over here because I feel like the height of the anthurium shelf just naturally blends in with this. I would just love for this entire thing to be one green wall, but modular, right? Using moss poles that I can switch around, I can chop them, I can change them around and so on, so that I can always create a nice display. I do need to work on cable management, apologies for that. So yeah. Let me bring you a little bit closer. So far so good in here. The Patricia is growing new leaf over here, but it seems to have the same fungal issue again. I'm not too sure what's going on. The Glorious was pushing out something as well, wasn't it? I think this is the new Glorious leaf already. Yay. And the Verrucosum is pushing out a new leaf, but it's kind of getting banged into the wall. It's slowly turning itself around. See this there? This is where it just kind of rubbed against the wall as it was unfurling. Nothing I can really change, but the fact that it's pushing out a new leaf is a good sign, right? And look, so sexy. Milano did the same thing again, aborted the growth point due to rot, so I chopped it again. I have no idea why it keeps doing this to me. I am so pissed off, but at least I was able to just chop it off, and now I have more time until I need to extend it. The El Choco is recovering, almost growing too large for my liking already. The Delta Force is pushing out a new leaf, and look at this newest luxuriance leaf as well, looking really, really nice. New queen leaf. It was this one, wasn't it? Yeah, this one. It is actually quite massive, but unfortunately it had a few injuries as it was unfurling, but I'm happy that it's growing, and I'm happy that it's growing really large leaves, because that was the first leaf on the back of a repot. So I know that the plant has re-established, grown plenty of roots, and is now finally focusing on leaf growth again. Doing a full video on this, but I think this plant is going places. This is a new leaf on my Magnificum X, I don't know, and I think this one is also a Magnificum hybrid, also a new leaf. And then over here I've got a cabinet that was gifted to me by a friend who works at a show place, or like a show, like it's like a design studio, and they didn't need it anymore, and she's like, do you want this? And I was like, obviously I want this. But I haven't had time to turn it into a planty cabinet yet. We'll do a full project on it. So in the meantime, I use it as like a display cabinet for my shelf, my merch. I don't know if this is too much or if it's cute, but anyway, I'm still waiting for a few samples to arrive, and then I can take some photos and it will go up on the website, and then the merch will also be available. I'm still stress testing, washing, wearing, using and so on, to see if I'm happy with the quality of the merch, but stay tuned. And then in this corner over here, ignore the letter, is just a couple of plants, the Pictum tricolor, and this one is I think a Dean McDowell and something else hybrid. Anyway, you can see this one gets this beautiful glow from the skylight. Anyway, I just can't really get over how beautiful this backdrop looks, and I'm really excited to do a lot of filming in here. I also bought a new rug. Let me zoom back out again. You should be able to just see it in frame. I also bought a new rug because the rug that I had in here before just didn't actually have enough fabric. Now, of course, it's a place that is very planty, so you don't necessarily want a super heavy rug, but this place has huge ceilings, like huge. And it is just large in general, so it is very echoey, which isn't necessarily super nice and definitely not nice for filming. So I needed to add a little bit more fabric in here. I thought maybe with the addition of all of the plants it would make a difference, but wasn't enough plants. Well, we got to change that at some stage, but for now I just got a really nice new rug, again from IKEA, and of course in green. Everything I buy is green actually. And one extra thing that I really enjoy is I have this mirrored wardrobe over here. I have the perfect view of my desk as well as my green wall, so I think I'm gonna film a little bit in the mirror. I don't know, it's kind of good. It helps me get some good angles actually. Look at this. Hi everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Anyway, the best thing is, this is not even the last space. There's one more space. It is not the plantiest of spaces. It's definitely more of a human space for now, but I still want to show it to you. So let's head upstairs. Alrighty, and welcome to level number 3, which is also backlit by a north-facing window over here. Alright, so over here I've got the rest of my anthuriums, the not so super pretty anthuriums. Really the only one I want to show you is, this is a little batch of luxuriant seeds and only one seems to be eventuating, but better than none. The rest, I'm not saying they're ugly, but they just need a little bit of time to recover and do something. I didn't really know what to do with them, so I just popped them here. Wow, that backlight is intense. Then over here, when we first walked in, there was a Mandula pothos on this little narrow landing, because I need a plant that is elongated and small so it doesn't kind of feed into this walkway, and I think it just looks so good there. And downstairs there's actually the Koisum over there, as well as Queen Rihanna. And then over here is my Florida Beauty. Pushed out a new leaf that's looking pretty good, but overall this spread of this plant is just way too large. I have no idea where to put it, so I just put it here because it gets enough light and it can spread as much as it wants. So I gotta do something with it. I think it's too mature. I like it more juvenile. Anyway, the main feature of this space is, well, that it's a bedroom, but also, oh, by the way, these are the windows that go into the office, but most importantly, this has a really nice balcony. And let me open the doors. It's so hot out there, so we better be fast. But basically, this balcony is really for humans. We've got a nice comfy seating area over here. I also got a new high bar over here. I think it looks so good, and I just love the idea of maybe having breakfast up here. You know, you're 3 levels up, so you've got the nicest views. You got, yeah, I don't know, there's something nice about it. This place is really sunny, so we've got the barbecue here, and then some more sun-loving plants like the palm, and the Bismarck palm over here, and some succulents, cacti over here. And I'm trying some other aeroids over here, but you can see the pothos, for example, got burned a little bit. It is quite sunny over here, but that's okay. Over here is a little roof though, so everything over here is quite protected. And I think this is mainly going to be a space for humans. Over here is also a bit of a rescue section. These are all of the Marantas that I mentioned I chopped. Oof, wow. I'm also really keen to explore a new set of plants, a new way of growing out on that new balcony. While I had a north-facing garden before, it had a lot of tree coverage, so it didn't have quite as much sun. But now I can dabble more into cacti, succulents, drought-tolerant natives. I'm sure some heliconias, bird of paradise, would give me the tropical feel while being able to handle that sort of northern exposure as well. So it's a work in progress. And I think that's the thing that I love about this change the most. I mean, to be honest, I love everything about this house. I think it's been a massive upgrade to the previous place, and that wasn't really the intention. The intention was actually to downsize and save money, and I ended up finding something that is actually more cost effective while still being larger, purely because I don't have the garden, but I have the balconies instead. So what I like about this is that, yeah, it comes with new challenges, new spaces to unlock, new issues or difficulties. For example, I don't have a massive garden anymore. Take all of my plants, hook them into the fence and hoist them down. I need to be much smarter with my watering, how I go about it. I need to be much smarter with my pest treatment, being proactive about it, cleaning rituals and so on. But you know what? That kind of keeps it exciting, keeps me on my toes, and hopefully also keeps my content interesting. Basically, in a nutshell, really excited about the new place, really happy with what I've been able to achieve in those 2 weeks already. I think the place is already looking better than when I first moved in, but I'm also really excited to keep it an ongoing theme and continuously work on this space, continuously start new projects and so on. I don't need to do everything straight away. And of course, I will take you along in as many projects as possible, so make sure you subscribe to my channel so you know next time I upload. While you're here, also leave a house emoji in the comment section down below to let me know that you watched the full video, and please give it a thumbs up. I'm really looking forward to sharing this new space with you guys, and hopefully I'll see you really soon. Bye.